What's up, guys? TCMuze. Let's get into some 90s hip hop R&B soul. All right, today we're going to get into some 90s R&B hip hop soul reminiscent of Mary J. Blige, songs like I Love You from the My Life album, or I Can Love You Better from the Share My World album. I was inspired by a new artist named Dajah Dorn. She made a song called 90's Fine, where she used like an old drum break like we used to use. So we're going to take her inspiration, make something like that. Now, instead of using a loop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own drum break. So in order to do this, I used the Abbey Road 70s drum kit, the tight funk preset. I took the overhead and the room mics and I turned that signal down. The other thing that I didn't want to do was have the hi-hats too high in here when I started processing it. So the hi-hats are pulled down. Now, in order to get that boom bap feel, we're going to have to process it a little bit more. But for now, let's just check out the dry kit, program something in like it would sound on an old record, and then we'll process it to make it more to our liking. There's my quantize, 16th notes, 75% strength and sensitivity. Oh, we're at 90 BPMs. All right, to get a little more control, I'm going to program the hi-hats in separately. All I'm going to do is now take the hi-hat track that I have separately, dump it back in there with the kick snare. So we got it all together. Hey man, if you made it this far, do me a favor. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you. All right, now to process this, let me just tell you what I have on it. I'm going to put some tape, add some low-end thump with this EQ, glue it together with this compressor, trim it just so we don't have things going over the top. And then lastly, we're going to put in knock just to saturate it. Watch the right-hand corner. I'll bring in the plugins one by one so you can hear what each one is doing. Also, one of the things that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm not pushing the meters up higher. I just want to make sure I'm adding perceived loudness, low-end thump, and a little bit of grit. All right, now that we got all that together, what we want to do is we want to add just a little bit more low end, like a subby kick. This is one of the things that they did a lot in the 90s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Analog Labs. I'm going to go here to my Sovereign Soul pack. And what I did is I'm adding this kick the 90s. It's basically a kick, very subby. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce the kick pattern that's already in the beat and just give it a little more weight with this subby kick. All right, now that we got the rhythmic elements in, what we want to do is start putting in our harmonic elements. For this, I'm using like a Mellotron lo-fi keys. It's called Sad Slow Movie. It's from my Sovereign Soul Analog Labs preset pack. Check it out. You can get it down below, link in the description. So let's go ahead, playing these keys. Like I said before, we're in the key of D major. You'll see the keys come up, you'll see the chords come up on the screen. However, I'll explain the chords in more detail at the end of the video after I play the demo. All right, I like it. I think I want to add like a small B section, maybe about 4 bars. Here, let's get in here and add it in. So we'll take the low end subby kick, leave the break out, omit the break. We're not gonna put the break in. And what I'll do is I'll play in some different chords here, just so we have a little bit of variation, and then it'll go right back in. So doing a little arrangement work ahead of time. Here's the second section. Again, chords will be on the screen. I'll explain all of this at the end. All right, next up, let's add in just some high-end sprinkles on top. We're gonna add in a bell from Analog Labs, blue bells. This is from the factory kit. So yeah, let's just get that in. Something nice and easy right on top. All right, we got that in, no problem. Now let's put in just a little bit more bass, but we're gonna move this one up a little bit. It's not gonna be so subby. It's just gonna be a mid-range, low mid-range bass, and something just to accent the rhythm that's already there. For that, we're using Contact Rickenbacker bass. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And we're using the Night Session preset. All right, last thing we're going to do is add in a lead. That's coming from Bouquet. It is the Brahmap preset. We're just going to lay something on the top on the turnaround, like breakdown section. So we're just going to focus on that. All right, let's get it in. We're going to turn off the quantize to get some of that legato goodness. I think we got it. Let me just go ahead and set up a sequence. I don't even think I'm gonna do too much here. I mean, the great thing about these 90s R&B style type beats is that the chords and the beat do a lot of the heavy lifting. And I think with just having that little turnaround gives us enough variation to start with. Of course, we would flesh this out a little bit more, but for now, I think we work for that. Maybe I'll put a little something in for the intro. I think I will. I'll take these first 4 bars and I'll just copy them over there. That'll be the intro. And then we'll just play everything around, let it loop over and over again. Let that be it. I think we got our sequence right there as I was talking to you about it. Let's play it so I can give you the demo here, but be reminded, after the demo, I'm going over the chords in detail, so stay tuned for that. you made it to the lesson after the session. Thanks for stopping by. If you made it this far, drop a keyboard emoji down in the comments. All right, like I said, today we're in D major, but of course it has a minor feel because we're working with the minor keys in D, minor keys in D major, excuse me. Let's go ahead, let me play D major out to show you what I'm talking about. Here it is. I'm gonna throw the chords on the screen. I'll spell them out. For this first section, we're playing the root with the left hand, and then we're playing the chord in the right hand. So one finger for the root, chord in the right hand. We're starting on that E major 9. So we'll have an E in the bass, and then for that major 9, what we're gonna do is we're going to have a D, an F sharp, a G, and then a B. Sounds like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move up to this F sharp, and we're going to do an F sharp minor 7. But as you can see, it's not going to be in root position here. It's going to be in an inversion. So we'll have the root, then we'll go to this C sharp, we'll go to an E, an F sharp, and an A. So that's the root, the 5th, the 7th, the root again, and then the 3rd. Sounds like this all together. Then we're going to a G major 7. So there's the G. Then we're going to play a B, a D, an F sharp, and an A. Then in the sequence, we go right back to that E minor 9. Same thing to the F sharp minor 7. Play again the G major 9. The last chord that we're going to play will be a B7 flat 9. And that's spelled with the B, a C, a D sharp, an F sharp, and an A. As you saw, I did a walk down when I played that from the root, playing B, A, G, F sharp. Play it for you again. So those are the chords in the first section. And then for the second section, we're not even going to use the left hand. For this section, we're just doing a vamp. But the vamp, we're playing the passing chords to make it sound a little more interesting. Because all I'm going to go through in this section is go from a G major 7 to a D major 7. But I'm going to put a diminished chord a half step below the D to come to it. Therefore, it kind of gives a little tension as I'm passing between the two. So here's the G major 7, G, B, D, F sharp. Then we're going to that diminished D flat, and we're playing D flat, E, G, B flat. Then we're going straight to that D major 7. Cycling right back to that G major 7th. D flat diminished 7. Back to the D major 7th. And that last chord that we're doing is we have to be cognizant that we're going back to E once in the turnaround to go back to the first section. So for that, we're going to use a E flat diminished, an E flat diminished. So that's a half step below the target of E that we want to go to. And for that, it looks like we're going to spell it out: E flat, G flat, A, and C. So from that D that we're in, we're just pulling in our thumb and our pinky, and we're just coming up one on our thumb, down one on our pinky. So from D major 7, that's it. That's the chord movement. You see that? D major 7. That's how you get that E flat diminish to take us back to the E. Those are the chords. Let's play the whole sequence around, maybe once or twice. There we go. That's the whole sequence, front to back, one time all around. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Would be happy to kind of like figure it out with you. Anyway, thanks for sticking around for the lesson after the session. And we out.